Tron Lightycle Run is an upcoming Walt Disney World roller coaster based on the Tron franchise. As someone who cares way too much about movies and about roller coasters, this ride has me asking a lot of questions. Mostly, why Tron? And as time went by, it was eclipsed by, why is Tron taking so long? Disney World's Lightcycle Run was announced July 15th, 2017, and now, 6 years later, in 2023, it's almost open. I've had a lot of time to think about this. So let's answer those big questions, and start by defining our terms. Whoa! We've been digitized! What are the odds that I got digitized moments before I started talking about Tron? Small world. It's a small world. Tron is a 1982 live-action Disney-produced film about Kevin Flynn, a computer programmer that gets digitized into the grid to stop an evil program called Master Control.
Hey, who's that guy?
That's Tron. He fights for the users.
In the context of the movie Tron, Tron is a security program that's designed to stop Master Control. He blows up Master Control. Honestly, Tron is great. I'm glad I watched it for this video. It's so tacky, yet earnest. The graphics are so bad, yet so good. And Jeff Bridges delivers every line as if he's on a green screen with no idea what's going on. Probably because he was delivering every line on a green screen with no idea what was going on.
Flynn!
Yeah, greetings, program!
Flynn, you're alive!
Barely. Yeah, Oh! Oh!
It's camp. It's great fun. Now, that's not the Tron that this ride is based off of. At the dawn of our current movie era of reboots, remakes, and delayed sequels, Disney made a sequel to Tron in 2010 called Tron Legacy. In it, Kevin Flynn's son, Kevin Flynn, the main character from the first movie, his son gets digitized into the grid to rescue his father from a computer program that is also his father, but younger. Classic soft reboot. It doesn't get more soft reboot than that. You remember how all the reboots of that era were about a child growing up and trying to reconnect with their fathers through adventure and... Hang on, I'm processing something. Producers in the early 2010s had daddy issues. Felt like they could only connect with their fathers through the movies that they liked from the 80s and 90s. Good thing I'm not like that. Tron Legacy is not very good. Some might even call it bad. It removed all the campy fun from the first one and took itself way too seriously. Looked cool though. Tron is about how Monopoly is bad, not the game, like the concept, and maybe how imperialism is bad if you stretch it out a little bit. Tron Legacy takes a broader stroke with its moral and says that genocide is bad, which I think we'd all agree with. But it didn't leave a very strong... shoot. What's that word for, like, the long-lasting impact of something? Years later? It'll come to me. Now I know what you're thinking. Why are they opening a Tron ride 13 years after the last Tron movie came out? Your question is valid, but please save them until the end, because we've only covered a third of the title of this ride. A Lightcycle is the most everlasting legacy of Tron. Legacy, that's the word I was thinking of. Even before I'd ever seen Tron, I knew what a Lightcycle was. A Lightcycle is a motorcycle in a video game that leaves behind a trail of hard light, that if you hit it, you die. The game itself is kind of like a competitive version of Snake where you're always getting longer. A run is... Did you know there's over 74 definitions of the word run? I remember sometimes I would go to my local library and I'd be really enthused by looking at the big dictionary there and seeing the 3-page long 114 definitions of the word run. Did I Did I read the dictionary for fun? Am I a nerd? No way. A nerd would never make an incredibly long video on an incredibly niche topic. Anyways, the best fitting definition for us is 38A, the distance covered in a period of continuous traveling. I think. Because it could also be 4A, to contend in a race, or maybe 32H, a sustained, usually aggressive effort. Or it could also be, while we're at it, we should also probably talk about the ride. It will be a launched motorbike coaster made by Vekoma, a company that Disney often works with. You know Vekoma. They made everybody's favorite Disney ride, the Barnstormer, as well as some lesser known projects like Expedition Everest, Rock and Roller Coaster, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and something called Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. They also made all those boomerangs that you see in parks everywhere. Speaking of those, have you ever wondered how those worked? No? Well, you see, chain dogs usually only work in... Oh, you know, chain dogs, the safety mechanism on chain lifts that prevent it from rolling back. Wait, hey, come back, where are you going? Hang on, I'll talk about Disney again, I promise. I'll talk about Disney. Come back, we got the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train in here. They did this French version of Space Mountain. There. That's better, right? Good. Vekoma pioneered the motorbike coaster when they opened their prototype model in 2004 at Toverland in the Netherlands. Wait, hang on. We're getting back to the Disney part, I promise. I promise. It was a simple launch coaster without inversions, but with an interesting way to sit, where you lean forward and straddled the seat, designed to look and feel like you were riding a motorcycle. Over the next 2 years, Vekoma would install 2 more before they took an extended break from the model. The 4th ever Vekoma motorbike coaster is Tron Lightycle Power Run. And the 5th will soon be Tron Lightcycle Run. Oh, what's that? Oh, yeah. Tron Lightycle Run will be a clone of a ride that already exists in Shanghai Disneyland called Tron Lightcycle Power Run. Now I hear what you're asking. Why has it taken Disney 6 years to build a ride that they've already built? But before we get to that, dear reader, we need to answer a different question. And to do that, we're gonna have to take a trip to Shanghai Disneyland! This question comes down to basic math. Shanghai Disneyland was approved by the national government in 2009. An agreement to build with the Shanghai partners was reached in November 2010, and groundbreaking started 6 months later in April 2011. Weeks after the initial agreement for Shanghai Disneyland, a movie came out. Do you know what movie that was? That's right, it was the masterpiece Tangled. And a few weeks later than that, it was Tron Legacy. That's right, after 28 years, we finally got a sequel to Tron. And people were worried about Avatar's sequel after 13 years. Disney, knowing that Tron was their next big surefire thing, made the headlining attraction for their brand new planned theme park a tie-in to this movie that was going to come out a month after the initial plans for the theme park were put in. Over the next 6 years, they built Tron Lightycle Power Run, and also the rest of Shanghai Disneyland, and they both opened June 16th, 2016. That's right, Disney built an entire theme park in the amount of time that it's taken them to build one roller coaster that's a clone of a ride that they've already made. Tron Lightcycle Power Run is the e-ticket attraction of the Tomorrowland section of Shanghai Disneyland. It essentially took the place of Space Mountain. In the 6 years it took to construct Shanghai Disneyland, in the 6 years since Tron Legacy debuted, Disney had acquired Marvel and had distributed 9 movies, including 10th highest grossing film of all time, 3rd at its premiere, The Avengers, and the most recent of their Marvel movies at that time was Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange. I bet you feel old now, huh? Disney had also acquired Star Wars in 2012 and had made 2 movies, including 5th highest grossing film of all time, Star Wars The Force Awakens. Tron Legacy made $400.1 million from its theatrical run worldwide, which, to its credit, is twice as much as the movie Yogi Bear made, which I didn't have any recollection of existing, but apparently it came out the same day as Tron Legacy. $400 million isn't bad. I'd love to have $400 million. But you know what movie that puts it on par with? Snow White and the Huntsman. You remember that movie? Of course you don't! You know what movie beat Tron Legacy? Alvin and the Chipmunks and Thor 1. Thor 1, guys. That's dire. That's all to say that the state of Disney changed dramatically in the 6 years between the conception of Shanghai Disneyland and when it finally opened. So naturally, in 2017, for some reason, Disney announced that Tron Lightycle Run would be coming to Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom. D23 is the name of the official Disney fan club, and every other year they hold the D23 Expo where Disney announces and showcases their up-and-coming projects. At the D23 Expo in 2017, Disney announced several upcoming rides such as the Ratatouille ride, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, and Tron Lightycle Run, all to be slated to be open in time for Walt Disney World's 50th anniversary celebration in 2021. Avatar Land had just opened in Animal Kingdom, Hollywood Studios was about to get Galaxy's Edge, and Epcot was promised the magnum opus of all Disney rides, the Ratatouille ride. With all these massive expansions to their other parks, that left the Magic Kingdom, the headliner, with its 2014 edition Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. But we don't want to leave the Magic Kingdom out.
So there's one more thing here. We also want to announce a brand new attraction coming to the Magic Kingdom. Over its 45 years, attractions at the Magic Kingdom have been a source of inspiration for all of Walt Disney Parks and Resorts, including at our most technologically advanced park, Shanghai Disney Resort. So I think it's only fitting that it will be soon home to be Shanghai's highest rated attraction. That's right, Tron is coming to Walt Disney.
So you introduced Tron Lightcycle, an e-ticket attraction from a different park. A clone that is easier and cheaper to implement because the design phase is already taken care of. Now, if you're feeling indignant over my claim that Disney World wouldn't spare no expense, I'm with you. Honestly, it's part of the reason why I'm so fascinated by this ride. But it made me realize something. Disney World's Magic Kingdom is a clone. It's a cloned park with cloned rides. Limiting myself to rides that are still operating, here's all of them that are original to Disney World's Magic Kingdom. The Hall of Presidents, The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, Mickey's PhilharMagic, Space Mountain, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and the Country Bears Jamboree. That's 6 rides. And all of them, except for the Hall of Presidents, go figure, have been cloned into other parks since their Magic Kingdom debut. Special mention to the Tiki Room under new management, which only ever existed at Walt Disney World. When I went to Disney the first time in the year 2000, I was 4 years old, and so I had all these memories of Iago and Zazu in the Tiki Room. And it really made me question everything when the next time I went to Disney, there was no mention of those animated birds, and most people that I ever talked to had no idea what I was talking about. And it turns out that it was only at Disney World, and it was only from 1998 to 2011, which to be fair, was a long time, but apparently no one saw it while it was under new management. Except for me. And I had to do some digging to discover that I didn't just make it up. Magic Kingdom is where the best stuff from anywhere else goes. So, while Animal Kingdom is getting a custom e-ticket attraction themed to Avatar, and Hollywood Studios is getting Rise of the Resistance, and Epcot is getting a $500 million roller coaster, and the greatest attraction from Disneyland Paris, nay, any Disney park period, the Ratatouille ride, Magic Kingdom can just skate by cloning the e-ticket attraction from Shanghai Disneyland based on a property that they have effectively forgotten about because people are already going to the Magic Kingdom. The other Florida parks needed the expansion support, but Magic Kingdom is already popular without any new expansions. The Magic Kingdom draws in a little less than twice the amount of guests than any other individual Disney park. They don't need to expand as intensely as the other parks because they can just float by on being the Magic Kingdom. Which is why we're getting a Tron ride. Because even though it's 13 years since the last time that Tron was even remotely relevant, the Magic Kingdom is relevant enough on its own that it doesn't matter what they add, only that they add something. So why Tron Lightcycle? Because it's something they had lying around. Tron Lightcycle has been under construction for a long time. For reference, Magic Kingdom's last roller coaster, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, only took 3 years from announcement to opening to the public. So we're gonna use this, the Timeline-o-Tron, to go back in time and see just what happened along the way that gave us Tron Lightycle Run in 2023. Whoa! Here we are at the D23 Expo where Tron Lightycle Run was announced in 2017. And then in February 2018, construction started on it, closing the Walt Disney World Railroad with it. In November 2019, the final piece of the track was installed. Now, obviously this is Disney, and they need to do more than just install the roller coaster. They gotta do all the Imagineering, making it look real nice, installing all those LED lights. But when you hear a fact, like this ride was completed in 2019, and 4 years later in 2023, it's still not open, it makes Iron Gwazi feel on schedule.
Iron Gwazi is a roller coaster at Busch Gardens, Tampa that was completed for the 2020 season, but they delayed opening it until 2022.
Then, the reason you've all been waiting for. The reason that many of you probably didn't even click on this video because it seems so obvious. It seems so obvious that of course Tron Lightycle Run was delayed because in March 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic hit and shut down all construction across all Disney parks. Yeah, this is the reason it was delayed so long, obviously. But, dear reader, you forgot that the COVID-19 pandemic was done, taken care of, never a problem again, merely 4 months later, in June 2020, when construction resumed. A simple 4-month delay like that would have had this ride open in February 2022. You know, a year ago. Construction resumed. In September 2020, work on the canopy had begun, and things were looking good in October 2020 when Disney laid off basically the entire construction crew working on the ride, waiting for cash flow to arrive in December. Just after December, in January 2021, they sealed off the building entirely, pausing all construction on it, but still with a promise of an early 2022 opening. 5 months after January, after cash flow arrived in December, in May, they started construction again. In January 2022, early 2022 as they might have called it, we get a new promise of a new delay of March 2023. Shortly after that, the railway tests for the first time in 4 years, and push-pull tests began on the ride. A push-pull test is when they take a single test car and put it on the track and see if it tracks well. And they also have these rulers that check for clearances before somebody checks those clearances with their human hands. In April 2022, full test runs begin, and shortly after that, the canopy is completed. In September 2022, a spring 2023 opening was promised, and as of January, it is currently slated to open April 4th, 2023. So, what happened? You might say that the pandemic caused this delay this whole time, but I wouldn't say that. I don't think that's the full answer. Actually, I don't think that's the answer at all. Because the tale of Tron Lightycle is actually the tale of two coasters, both alike in dignity. In fair Orlando is where we lay our scene. Enough of that boring Tron stuff. Let's get to something good. Across the monorail in a different Florida park is a ride that was announced at the very same expo as Magic Kingdom's Tron Lightycle. And though it was slightly less anticipated than the greatest human achievement of all time, the Ratatouille ride, it did garner a bit of a cult following. It was just a little ride called the most expensive roller coaster ever built, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. I probably don't need to explain as much about this ride as I did for Tron, because you've probably heard of the Guardians of the Galaxy since their 2014 cinematic debut, their 2017 sequel film, and their recent feature in Thor 4, or Thor, in 2022. But I can tell you a bit about the Cosmic Rewind part. Cosmic Rewind was built by our friends over at Vekoma, who you might remember because we already talked about them in this video. They built Tron Lightycle Run. Remember Tron Lightycle Run? This is a video about Tron Lightycle Run. The ride train is made up of controlled spinning cars, in similar concept to Intamin's Escape from Gringotts at Universal Studios. Cosmic Rewind also includes a backwards launch, 6 different possible songs, and Terry Crews. It's got everything! Well, I mean, Everything $500 million could buy. Which, I mean, come on, can't be that much. It's only more than what Tron Legacy made in theaters. And now I know what you're asking. Why did Disney spend that much money on a ride for Guardians of the Galaxy? Uh-oh! We're blasting off! Whoa! Our next section brings us deep into space. Captain's log. Stardate, March 15th, 2023. Long have I been going, trying to discover the true reason for Tron Lightycle Run to be so delayed. And my searches have brought me here, to the mysterious land of Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. But why? Why were these two coasters pitted against each other so? That's what I'm trying to find out on this episode of this. Okay, you probably like the Guardians of the Galaxy. Alright, at least, right? I mean, you might not even be asking this question, but it's actually a very interesting question worth looking into. I mean, not as worth looking into as why they're building a Tron ride in 2023, but still, there's something here. Guardians of the Galaxy 1 comes in as the 29th highest grossing superhero film, behind every Avengers movie, every non-Amazing Spider-Man movie, every Black Panther movie, and every Captain Marvel movie. Note that Guardians of the Galaxy 2 comes in at 20th, beating some of the OG Spider-Man, but not beating Batman vs. Superman? Am I reading that right? People saw that movie? Dire. So why are we theming our only Marvel ride in Disney World to superheroes that don't even crack the top 10? Well, first let's remember that this ride was announced in July 2017, so we can remove half the Avengers and half the Spider-Man from this list. Black Panther and Captain Marvel were released after this ride's announcement, which leaves Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which came out a couple of months before this announcement, as the 10th highest grossing superhero film at the time. Okay, we're moving up in the world. But why didn't Disney go with highest grossing superheroes at the time, and also still now, just with a different movie? Why didn't Disney use the Avengers? Universal's Islands of Adventure. Islands of Adventure is another theme park in Orlando, but it's owned by Universal. It's really great. I highly recommend it. This park opened in 1999 with a land called Marvel Superhero Island. For reference, this is when the only Marvel movies that existed were Blade and Howard the Duck. This is a land based on the actual Marvel comics, and to quote some legalese here, Universal called dibs first. When Disney acquired Marvel in 2009, they kept the standing agreement that Marvel had with Universal. Universal would continue to have exclusive theme park rights to the superheroes they used on that side of the Mississippi. And get this, the name Marvel itself. It's not Marvel's Avengers Campus, like Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. It's just Avengers Campus. Someone who knows more about legalese or Disney, let me know if they can use Captain Marvel. Universal has the exclusive Florida theme park rights to the Avengers, Spider-Man, X-Men, and the Fantastic Four, which knocks out the Avengers 2, Iron Man 3, Captain America 2, and Spider-Man Homecoming off this list, which leaves Batman as the reigning superhero champ, highest grossing of all time! Batman the ride confirmed for Disney World, woo! Edison and his DC currents aside, this leaves Guardians of the Galaxy as the highest grossing superhero film that Disney could use in their Florida theme parks. Plus, like I said, it came out like 2 months before this announcement, so synergy! Yeah! So now I hear you asking, what does this have to do with anything? Well, I'll tell you, we're getting there. I don't know, I haven't written it yet. Let's go find out. Absolutely pure fun, really good. Focus. Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind was announced at the same convention as Tron Lightycle Run, making them fraternal twins. CR construction started in May 2018, which gave TLC a 4-month head start. Hey, speaking of 4 months, March 2020 came around and paused all construction on all Disney projects. Until, of course, 4 months later in June 2020, when, as we all know, pandemic was over, never a problem again. Oof, good thing we're not still dealing with that. By November 2020, Cosmic Rewind was in push-pull testing. You know what Tron was doing at this time? Having most of its construction crew laid off, waiting for cash flow in December. Tron wouldn't get to push-pull testing until 2022! In December 2021, the first test riders got to take a spin on Cosmic Rewind. And then, missing their original 2021 promise, their promise from 2017, missing it by 5 months. 5 months! Considering the pandemic happened! Cosmic Rewind opened, soft open, May 5th, 2022. With a full opening May 27th, 2022. May 5th. What a random day for them to really try to get this ride open by. I mean, it was a Thursday. Why did they pick May 5th of all days? Oh, maybe because Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is releasing in 2023. May 5th, 2023. Exactly 1 year after Cosmic Rewind opened. Synergy! Woo! This is a Tron Lightycle Run video, remember? Remember Tron Lightycle Run? Of course you don't! You've been dazzled by Disney World's favorite child, Cosmic Rewind, and you forgot all about its fraternal twin, spending all day locked in the Notre Dame Tower, dreaming about just one day living in the sun, dreaming about its one day out there. Disney delayed Tron to maximize Guardians synergy. And I don't blame them. A Guardians ride makes sense. It makes sense from all angles. But for some reason, it really pisses me off that Disney had the gall to promise me a ride I didn't want, that didn't make sense, and then they kept it away from me for so long. If Disney had just opened this ride in 2021 like they said they would, I wouldn't be here making a video about Tron Lightcycle. I didn't care. Until it took so long that now I do care. This ride took 6 years to open. Its IP hasn't breathed in 13 years. They closed the Disney World train for this. It's been closed since 2018 when construction started. And you want to know why they did it? Why they delayed it so long that I became obsessed with it? Why Tron Lightcycle is taking so long? Because I have terrible knowledge, a terrible theory about Tron 3. That's right, Tron 3. I didn't mention Tron 3 until now. I bet you hadn't even considered it. How could you not have heard of Tron 3 yet? This is Disney that we're talking about after all. You're the same Disney that told me that I would be enjoying Avatar 5 in theaters December 22nd, 2028, 10 years ago! Why am I the only person to know about Tron 3? Because I'm the only person who's been on the Future tab on the Wikipedia page for Tron Legacy recently. Because I'm obsessed with an irrelevant ride that took 6 years to open! Here is my terrible Tron 3 knowledge. In October 2010, a month before Tron Legacy even came out, the original director of Tron and producer of its sequel were already claiming that the writers were working on a sequel script to Tron Legacy. But so what? Directors are always saying stuff like that. But in March 2015, it was discovered that Tron 3 had actually been greenlit. Returning actors were on board, and Disney was going to be so stoked to have this movie out before Shanghai's Tron Lightcycle was 6 years irrelevant by the time it opened in 2016. But then in May 2015, another Disney movie came out. A Disney movie that you can't find on Disney+. And that movie was Tomorrowland. It's been a Tomorrowland video this whole time! Hang on, I have to go watch it. I've now seen it. Tron Lightycle Run just made me watch Tomorrowland. How much worse can this day get? You know what Tomorrowland is. It's the part of the Magic Kingdom that Tron is going into. Duh. But what you might not know about, because Disney is ashamed of it, is a movie called Tomorrowland. Tomorrowland is the story of a young, maybe adult woman. She can drive a car, she's in high school, her license is sideways, which at least in New Jersey means that she's 21. Okay, Google. Which direction are licenses in Florida? Vertical licenses for individuals under 21. Her license is horizontal. She's in high school. No! Ah! Anyways, Tomorrowland is a simple story where a young, maybe adult woman takes a pin from a jail in Cape Canaveral, Florida, to Houston, Texas, to Pittsfield, New York, to Paris, France, to space, to another dimension named Tomorrowland, so that they can blow up an antenna. That's the long and short of it. This movie boldly tells me that if it weren't for the liberal cuck media lying to you and telling you that the world was on the brink of collapse, that the world would actually get much better. You don't do anything when you see how terrible the world is on the television, and maybe if you watched less television, you'd still be able to dream of a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. If only we had more dreamers in the world, and then the world would be a better place. Well, Disney, the movie you placed in front of me did not inspire me, it dazed me. I got this pin immediately after watching the movie, because I knew I'd be talking about it, and I thought, that's what Jenny Nicholson would do. And then the next time I spoke to my girlfriend about it, she said, you know, Jenny Nicholson has a video on Tomorrowland. And she did get one of these. So I was right. This is a Tron video, so I'm not going to spend too long dissecting this movie for you. Maybe someday I will. Tomorrowland made $93 million in the US. You remember Yogi Bear? Yogi Bear made $103 million. Yogi Bear 2010 beat Tomorrowland. And I know I said this a lot, but I truly mean it this time. Dire! Dave Hollis commented this about the film's performance. Tomorrowland is an original movie, and that's more of a challenge in this marketplace. We feel it's incredibly important for us as a company and as an industry to keep telling original stories. Oh, yeah, right, totally, yeah, I forgot that Tomorrowland was a completely original idea and not based on an area in a Disney park. Admittedly, I just looked through the top grossing movies of 2015, and I gotta say, it's really has been a long time of this sequel reboot hell we live in now. Do I talk about is this the last time I'm talking about the Ratatouille ride? Brad Bird made the Disney Pixar magnum opus Ratatouille of the famed Ratatouille ride at Epcot. Brad Bird turned down directing Star Wars Episode 7 to make Tomorrowland. The course of history would be monumentally shifted if this movie didn't exist. Star Wars sequel trilogy would have been completely different. Tron 3 would have been out by now, and Tron Lightycle Run probably would be the best ride in any amusement park. But instead, we live in a world where a movie did so badly that Disney stopped making sci-fi films that didn't have Star Wars or Marvel in the title. That's Tomorrowland. Listen, I don't know quite when to talk about this. I love Ratatouille, and I've really been hyping up the Ratatouille ride in my head, and I finally got to go on it recently, and I discovered something about it that maybe makes what I've been saying about it not quite true. The Ratatouille ride at Epcot is in French. I mean, not entirely in French, just as much in French as the version in Disneyland Paris is, which is very French. And, you know, I know I've been talking about Tron Lightycle Run a lot, but to not even bother to change the language to the regional language when you move a ride. It makes me a little upset. My friendship with the Ratatouille ride is over. Space Mountain is my favorite ride now. Who am I kidding? It's Cosmic Rewind. Tomorrowland supposedly did so poorly that they scrapped Tron 3. A movie that had nothing to do with Tomorrowland, outside of a sci-fi genre. Admittedly, this might have something to do with Disney's plan to have a Star Wars movie every year too. But mostly Tomorrowland. But then, just when I think I can stop thinking about Tron, in 2017, director Joseph Kosinski claimed that Tron 3 wasn't dead, it was just very sleepy. It's just a very sleepy movie franchise. Oh, good night, Tron. See you later. Tuck you in. Good night. Good night's rest. Yeah, right. Then, a few days later, it was reported that a character had a name, Ares, and that this Ares would be played by none other than Joker Morbius. He's probably been in a third movie, Leto. In June 2020, we learned that Disney has a script and is trying to find a director. I'll remind you that the directors of the past two films are still around. In 2022, Morbius himself confirmed that Tron 3 was still happening and they had a director. Months later, that director left and was replaced by Joachim Roning. You know, co-director of Pirates of the Caribbean 5 and director of Maleficent Mistress of Evil. You know, him. As of right now, filming is slated to start in August 2023, and IMDb has its estimated release in 2025. What I'm saying is, they delayed the Tron ride long enough that now it's going to be relevant to the Tron 3 movie that they're making. And I'm sure that whatever day that they're going to open up Tron is actually going to be some sort of elaborate tie-in to Tron 3. April 4th, 2023, I'm on to you, Disney. That's when Tron 3 is going to come out in 2025. Or if not, that's gonna be the day that you release the first teaser trailer for it to confirm that this ride is revitalizing the Tron franchise. Disney has strung me along all this time, announcing the ride, greenlighting the movie, delaying the ride, canceling the movie, delaying the ride, not canceling the movie, just to torture me specifically. We're living in a post-Tomorrowland society where all Disney rides are IP'd, and if it's not a movie yet, it soon will be. And sometimes in this Ouroboros of marketing, we get a movie that spawns a sequel, that spawns a ride, that spawns a copy of that ride, which will then spawn a sequel of the movie. I'm stuck. I'm stuck in a world where one day they're gonna redo the Jungle Cruise to add animatronics of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Imagine the puns they'll be able to pull with that. It'd be good. How long will it be until there's a Big Thunder Mountain movie? It's on the Wikipedia article for upcoming movies without a date. It's coming. When will there be a Hall of Presidents movie? It's like, I don't know, like 1776. Maybe they could do something like that. Just put all the presidents in one room and just kind of like see what happens. Get Lin-Manuel Miranda to do the music. Have Franklin Pierce and Chester Arthur do a rap battle debate. Have a bunch of different presidents have their own movies and then bring them together in one movie to fight a united evil and call it Rushmore, the Hall of Presidents. How long until the Tiki Room is under new management? You know, they only got rid of Tiki Room under new management because of a fire? If that fire didn't happen, would we still have Iago and Zazu singing Get On Your Feet by Gloria Estefan? Probably. It's a great big beautiful tomorrow, shining at the end of every day. It's a great big beautiful tomorrow, and tomorrow is just a dream away. Whoa! Oh my. Oh, I must have lost myself in the grid there for a while. I'm back. I think I need to go to the library and read the dictionary to calm down. Tron Lightycle, April 4th, 2023. Tron 3. Soon after that. It's all connected. It's a great big beautiful tomorrow, shining at the end of every day. It's a great big beautiful tomorrow, and tomorrow tomorrow is just a dream away. And now I'm free. Machka got digitized! Oh no! Machka got digitized! Louie, can you stop moving around? You're ruining my immersion in the grid. Uh-oh, baby reports. Or baby reports are coming in. They're off the charts. He has to do this now. Oh, hello! Oh, he says hello. He's gonna eat the shit out of my face. Machka, what is this? Animal Kingdom? Hi, everybody. It's me. Your worst nightmare. Why am I upset? Why am I obsessed? That's a great question. Here he is! The reason for all this. Coming hot! Ooh, yeah! And in the... What the fuck? This is green. This is gonna ruin my life. Hi! It's me! From the video you just watched. Remember me? I'm me, except much closer to when you're actually going to be watching this video. I started filming February 21st for this video, and it is now March 29th. So I now know how much effort I put into this video, and I am no longer above begging. Please like this video, and comment, whoa, 40 minutes, if nothing else. It'll help me a lot. I'd really appreciate it. And it would mean so much to me if you were to watch it again, send it to a friend who might like it, or if you didn't like the video, you could send it to a friend that you don't especially like. Take the social hit of recommending people a video for me, because I've made a 40-minute long video. I worked a little bit on it every day for 2 months, and it is actually done. I did that. So help me out. I had a good time. I learned a lot about After Effects. I learned a lot about my style. Like I said, I worked on it a little bit every day. Did my makeup every time I filmed, except for right now, because I'm being real annoying. I also have a Patreon now. No one's there yet, but especially with this video, I've actually put up a decent amount of stuff. There's an early cut of this video. There is 8 minutes of me just talking about Tron, in case you like hearing me talk and would like to hear me talk in slightly different ways. Anything else? I'm excited for you to watch it, and if you have watched the whole thing, thank you very much. I'll see you in the next one.